This is a topic I always find personally really interesting, is whenever like a new game or a new movie or something comes out and people are like generally really positive and really like something about, you know, the game or the movie or whatever it is that we're talking about. Like, generally speaking, the reception is very good. But then there's always like one or two things that people get upset with. For those of you who have been watching my streams on Twitch, you'll know that I have been playing the hell out of a game called Remnant 2 lately. It is probably my game of the year currently. I enjoy it so much, I can't stop thinking about it. And I've already clocked in like 20 to 30 hours of actual playtime since the game came out. And, you know, I work full-time and I stream other games as well. So, like, for me putting in that much time in such a, like, you know, in like a month or whatever, that is a huge amount of time for me to actually put into a single game.
There we go. Oh my, I'm done with this game.
Fuck you, you piece of shit! Fuck you! Stupid data ghost! Oh,
Fuck you, Ghost!
oh, fuck. Channel and a whole bunch more on the way, editing-wise. And for the most part, I love absolutely everything about Remnant 2. I think almost every single change to that game is a good thing. It is so much fun. The new jumping mechanics, the platforming, the combat, the melee, literally everything about it is better than the first game, in my opinion. I fucking love that game, and once I actually finish the game, I'll have a full review out on it, and actually I'll compare the changes from Remnant from the Ashes to Remnant 2, because I've played both games, unlike a lot of the people who are talking on like Reddit and Steam forums. Like, I've actually clocked in like 300 hours into the original Remnant. So, like, I kind of know what I'm talking about when I'm comparing the two. But there's one fucking thing that has persisted through both games that has annoyed me. And that is the character writing. Now, honestly, I'm going to be completely real with you. In the original Remnant, most of the character writing was, like, very sufficient. It was fine. It wasn't amazing, but it was serviceable. And really the interesting story and lore was all the shit happening in the background of this place called the Labyrinth. And Remnant 2 is kind of the same way, where a lot of the character dialogue isn't super interesting, but it's the worlds and the different, like, factions and organizations in them, as well as the otherworldly beings that are very fucking interesting. And the writing for most of the bosses and those characters is, it is very good. So, in the most recent Remnant game, there is a character named Cass, as, like, within the first 5 minutes you're talking to her. And I'm just gonna, like, play out some of the clips from my stream of her, like, talking or whatever. I didn't really comment on it on stream, but her character is, like, genuinely annoying.
A dancing skeleton?
What?
Alright, that's gonna change.
3 times I saved your life. The sinkhole, your foot. What? You'd be dead if my mom hadn't taught me to dress a wound.
Yeah, okay.
You open the door and she went like this. She went.
I've got a
Why
question.
she walk like that?
I don't know, and I hate her. I got a question. Have you guys ever, like, been eating food with someone, and you just want to, like, grab the back of...
Hey, look at this.
You just want to, like, grab the back of their head and just, like, shove their head into their food until, like, the bubbles slowly become, like, less and less, like they're drowning in their fucking soup. And then after they start flailing, you let them out.
Is this about me talking with my mouth full?
No, this is about her.
Like, I want to, but I know I can't because I need that
Bad with a
paycheck.
side of broccoli.
This one. This one's good.
Hey, that don't count, by the way. For what it's worth, you were a good friend.
I'm surprised like...
Wait, that's just...
The reason I'm making this a separate video over just, like, including it in the Remnant 2 video is I'm so fucking tired of people deflecting, like, character criticism. Like, let's say a character that is in a game is annoying, frustrating to listen to, or just fucking badly written, as, like, racism, misogyny, homophobia, blah blah. Listen, I'm not a political channel, okay? I don't like talking about politics, so I'm not gonna even get into the whole culture war side of things. But I think it's just fucking brain dead and stupid. Because while I'm not into the culture war side of things, I am into the writing side of things. I'm writing a book as we speak. And there's been a lot of discourse around this character cast because everybody keeps writing people off who don't like her as just racist or misogynist or whatever. And honestly, I think that couldn't be further from the truth. I'm sure there are some genuine bad actors out there, but for the most part, the writing for the character is just bad. Even throughout the campaign, she doesn't get better. And even if you didn't think, like, what you just heard was that big of a deal and you thought it was just, like, serviceable, it's still not good writing. You know, serviceable and good are still very different things. And, like, that scene where she's like, you were a good friend, you were a good friend, that happens, like, 5 minutes after you, the player, meet her. So, like, you have no attachment to this character, and the game is really trying hard to make you have one. There's also the fact that throughout the entirety of the campaign, she doesn't seem to take what you're doing seriously, which, like, if you actually understand, like, Remnant as a whole has very interesting world building and lore, even if the character writing isn't the greatest. If you actually understand what's happening too, like, the characters, the labyrinth, everything that's going on, it's pretty high stakes, and she just does not take it seriously during the entire campaign. And obviously, you know, she's just constantly arrogant and kind of annoying. You know, she's just not very likable as a character, which is fine. It's okay to have characters like that to a degree. When I meet a character and within the first 4 or 5 minutes I'm talking about suffocating her in her own soup, you've done something wrong. Another wonderful example of this happening, straying a bit from Remnant 2, is the Handler from Monster Hunter World. A character that is widely regarded as incredibly annoying, not because she's a woman, but because she constantly pops up and just doesn't stop talking. She also constantly, in the middle of quests, will be, you know, shown on screen, hey partner, hey partner, hey partner, hey partner. We did this, when in reality, you're the one basically doing fucking everything. And it's not to say she's, like, necessarily a terrible character. I would say the Handler is leagues above Cass. But there's plenty of reasons people would be annoyed by her or not really like her as a character. And it's not like all these phobias or whatnot that people keep trying to assign to them. It's just that they're fucking annoying. And in the Handler's case, she's incredibly reckless, constantly putting herself in danger and relying on the Hunter to essentially bail her out of it. And her job is supposed to be to handle the Hunter, not the other way around. And for some reason, it seems to be specifically with female characters, where if you dislike something they do or say or the way they're written, you get labeled all this weird shit, and I don't understand it. I think it's perfectly reasonable to dislike characters, dislike writing, and critique or criticize characters or writing that are, like, bad. I think that's perfectly fair. Ahsoka from the Clone Wars TV show is another character that was, like, widely hated when she was first announced, and now, as far as I understand, she's literally a fan favorite in, like, that whole Star Wars fandom. Because unlike these other characters, she learns and grows, and while she still has some of that snippiness, she's less overbearing with it. And not only is she less overbearing with it, she feels more as though she earned those situations where she's like that because you've actually seen her work for it. So, like, that kind of character can be done well. It's just that, like, these annoying characters or characters that are super overbearing or snippy all the time or just bitches oftentimes aren't done well in their writing. And it has nothing to do with XYZ phobia or whatever. It's just that people don't like badly written characters. And in games especially, players don't like NPCs taking credit for things that they did. The Handler and Cass both are kind of portrayed to be, like, really good at what they do and really good and adept and just good fighters in Cass's place. But, like, in the gameplay, you are tripling their kill count or actually the one in danger more often than they are. And you're usually the one coming on top holding things together, not them. But then in the cutscenes, they're portrayed as doing most of the heavy lifting. And it's just like, well, that's not what happened. So part of it is also the whole, there is a gap between gameplay and narrative. And I understand that. But there's got to be better ways of portraying these characters as being effective. So it's just a combination of factors that make these characters kind of a pain to be around. You know, them popping up constantly when you don't need them to, giving stupid advice, or just being, like, unreasonably quirky, like, to the point where they're just annoying. And I think it's completely fair for people to critique that, whether it's a male character, a female character. They should be able to critique that and not immediately get labeled as some sort of weird, like, homophobe or misogynist or whatever. It's just really weird. Anyways, I think that's about it today. Like, sub, come to Twitch, and then I'll see you guys on my next stream.
Round and round it spins, working with the darkest shadows.